vicious, untrue and upsetting. Lancashire Police are investigating an allegation dating back to 2006. President Obama wants more background checks on Americans who intend to buy firearms. As he pledges to toughen gun laws, he's also pushing for better tracking of illegal weapons sold online. Daniel Paulson's from the pro-gun lobby in Virginia.
It's only going to make crime worse. It's only going to make terrorism worse in this country. It's only going to help the terrorist.
MPs say Britain should take in 3,000 child refugees from Syria who are stranded in Europe. The International Development Committee says lone children risk being forced into prostitution or the drugs trade unless they're given shelter. The number of people with diabetes in the UK is thought to have passed 4 million. That includes 500,000 who have type 2 diabetes and don't know it. Gulshinder Johal is from the British Dietetic Association.
It can go undetected for years, really. And it's only when people go to the doctor and say, right, I'm feeling really tired, or, you're going to the toilet a lot at night, or you're itching, or there's certain symptoms that you have, so you're feeling very thirsty, those kind of symptoms. And then obviously the GP will know those symptoms instantly and they should check for diabetes.
And today is being dubbed Fat Cat Tuesday, when top bosses will have already received more than most people earn in a year by today, by the 5th of January. It's extraordinary, isn't it? By this afternoon, the High Pay Centre says FTSE 100 chief executives will each have passed the average worker's salary of just over £27,000. And you could buy a lifetime supply of tonics and tea cakes with that kind of money. Which we will be talking about later. Who wouldn't? Never too early for a tonics. Right, we'll try not to give them too many mentions this morning, but there is an interesting story surrounding them and their new rebranding exercise, which we'll get into a bit later on. Chris, how's the sport looking?
Like a tea cake. Good morning. David Beckham says Zinedine Zidane is the best man for the Real Madrid head coach job. This is after he replaced Rafa Benitez in charge last night. Benitez was sacked with a win percentage of 68, with the club just 4 points off the top of the league. Zidane has been managing the club's second string. Beckham says his former teammate doesn't accept failure on any level. Bowler Steve Finn says England still believe they can win the second test match in Cape Town despite a chastening third day in the field. South Africa lost just 1 wicket as they reduced England's first innings lead to 276 runs. They will begin day 4 this morning on 353 for 3, with captain Hashim Amla unbeaten on 157. Chris Gale has apologised for asking out a female TV journalist during a pitchside interview in the Australian Big Bash. The former West Indies captain told Mel McLaughlin he liked her eyes. His former teammate Chris Rogers said last night he was very disappointed in both his attitude and behaviour. And the 2-time former winner Ted Hankey has lost his first round match at the BDO World Darts.
Across the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. 5 Live Breakfast.
And the Chris Gale comments, by the way, are interesting as well. Just a bit of harmless fun or offensive. Good morning, everyone. Tuesday, our top story this morning. Sources have told the BBC that the main suspect in the latest propaganda by the so-called Islamic State group is a British man who jumped bail in 2014. Now, he's called Sadat Adar. He's from Walthamstow in north-east London. Security officers are examining the video in which they believe he appears, which seems to show the killing of 5 men who are first-floor spies. So who is this man? Well, he was a Hindu. He worked as a bouncy castle salesman. He converted to Islam and joined the banned radical group Al-Mujahirun. He wasn't shy about his support for so-called Islamic State. He appeared on numerous TV and radio stations, including 5 Live.
I want peace and justice around the world, and I believe that democracy and liberalism, they're not feeding into that. I believe that Muslims and non-Muslims can live side by side peacefully, but it's proving
difficult for Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims to live side by side at the moment.
With the British and the Americans intervening and bombing civilians, of course it's very difficult, but I think if we had a stable caliphate with no intervention, I think we'll all prosper under that state.
Adar was arrested for allegedly encouraging terrorism. He was released on bail in order to hand in his passport, but he disappeared in September 2014, a month after that interview you just heard, and later published pictures of himself in Syria on social media. A source with the now banned Al-Mujahirun group told the BBC he has no doubt the man in the video is Dar, but his sister, Konika Dar, says she's not so sure.
Obviously, I have mixed emotions at the moment. I think initially my first feeling in regards to the latest